Alright, mini bike action. John here. Hope everybody's doing well out there and still enjoying your Vader even though the weather sucks. At least it does over here. Um, okay, going inside my Vader engine, okay. I was originally disassembled it so I could put the YX transmission I bought for it in there. Thinking that this had the more roadworthy, the more road type transmission. The YX transmission is more of a performance transmission. So when I got it apart, I noticed that lo and behold, it already has the YX style transmission with the good ratios. So we don't have to put that in there. But while I'm in there, I'm looking at crankshafts, and I also measured the stroke on this engine, and surprisingly it's a 54 millimeter stroke. Now that makes sense because 54 millimeter piston, which is what it has, 54 millimeter stroke, that's a 124. It does say 127 on the cylinder, which I don't know, it's kind of misleading, and I assumed that this had the 55 millimeter stroke crankshaft in it, but it doesn't. See, in the 54 millimeter crankshaft are usually in engines that have a 69 millimeter cylinder, tall cylinder. This has the 78 millimeter tall cylinder, so it accepts T-bolt big bore kits and cool shit like that. Yeah, so so this is a 54 mil, that's what I measured the stroke as. So odd duck crankshaft, that it's 54 millimeter stroke with a 78 millimeter tall cylinder. Just strange. So it got me thinking though about crankshafts, and I have a 55 millimeter crankshaft from a different engine. That's a 55 millimeter stroke that'll go right in there, and the piston will move up and down in the piston will reach top dead center in the exact same place as it does with this one. They do that by the length of the rod, of course. So this one naturally would have slightly shorter rod because it's got a longer stroke. But you're going to end up in the same place at the top of the cylinder. Any of these 78 millimeter tall cylinders are going to all end up in the same place. And what is cool too is that I found a Liffin 150cc crankshaft that's a 56.5 millimeter crankshaft. And sorry for the camera jerking around. 56.5 with a 57 millimeter piston I have is going to put it about 155 cc's. And so I'm really seriously considering that. And it's mainly because they're forcing me to ride in the 150 open class because of the mods I've done to this engine. It's slightly too big by just a few cc's to run in the street class. So I can't run in that. I'm going to have to race against hopped up, tricked out Honda CRF 150s that are all set up with slicks and everything, and it's kind of a bummer, but it's still fun to race regardless. And there'll be other classes I can run in, like there's the Vet 30, Vet 40, where all kinds of bikes are out there running together. But anyway, yeah, I'm really thinking seriously about getting that bigger stroke crankshaft and just turning this thing into a monster. So we'll see about that. We'll see how it runs the way it is. But, you know, I'm learning a lot of stuff, not everything, but I'm learning a lot about this engine and pit bike engines in general and what parts can be interchanged and stuff. It's pretty interesting. And they're like a small block Chevy. I mean, there's just so many things that have been done to them and things you can do. So we'll get this baby back on the road here pretty soon. Get my V2 stuff all on there and get it ripping. And then we'll think about a crankshaft. All right, that's it for now. Later.